Yeah, we working. We're working. On a holiday where I blow a lot, getting in. Let's get it. Under the grace, do what we gotta do. Let's get it, baby. September 13th. Here we come.
We're running before we, head into the press conference. So everything is going according to plan, and I'm looking forward to becoming a 3-time undisputed champion come September 13th.
The thing about Crawford is he believes he's on it. Like, he believes he's the one. So that's the difference between him and any other fighters that Canelo fight.
The lead up to the fight between Crawford and Canelo has seen Crawford issue stern warnings to Canelo, which has shown a new confident persona.
The last fighters that you they ain't on my level. And you
I fought everybody.
The last fighters you fought since 2002.
Mention me one. You mention me one elite fighter. Just one.
The one thing about Crawford is he got guts. Them bums ain't have no guts. Them bums didn't want to win. Crawford want to win. That's it. It ain't about no belt. It ain't about nothing. You didn't sign the contract. We want to win.
He can no longer wait to have things his way silently and has gone to take center stage, confronting Alvarez with harsh words and even pointing out his physical features in press conferences. Not only is this a flourish to entertain the audience, but it is a tactic to play mind games with Canelo in the pre-match buildup.
So when I beat you, is you gonna be a nobody? When I stump a mud hole in your ass, is you gonna be a nobody? Everybody else been saying, since I moved to 147, I ain't fought nobody. Every last one of them stump a mud hole in their and he gonna be next. Watch.
Eddie Hearn offered some advice to Terence Crawford on how to beat Canelo Alvarez, and it mostly has to do with his mobility and ring IQ. He pointed out that the capability of Crawford to remain evasive and attack decently on the back foot will be critical. Hearn tells us that Crawford cannot and must not be pinned or pressured like others, but has to remain sharp, smart, and on the move.
What do you mean
moving,
by that?
fighting off the back foot.
Yeah.
A lot of, he'll engage a lot more than Skull, but he will be looking to do all the things where people have had success, which is use movement. Look at what Bivol did. Bivol had the perfect game plan. He boxed off the back foot, then he attacked, then he moved, then he, all that kind of stuff. I think Crawford will be looking to do exactly the same.
There has been increased interest all over the globe. Terence "Bud" Crawford is widely praised by the boxing community because of his refined skills as a switch hitter, footwork, counterpuncher, and excellent ring IQ. He was able to overcome the best of opponents by moving easily and thinking fast.
Move out the way! Yeah! Move out the way! Yeah! Move out the way! Yeah! 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 What you got? Yeah! What you got? Yeah! What you got? Yeah! Yeah! Yeah!
Derek James recognized the risky mentality Terence Crawford is approaching his boxing match against Canelo Alvarez. Sharing his view as a trainer of the best talent in the world, Crawford is a major threat. Hence, James hinted at the fact that Crawford does not fear anybody, and that sets him up as a dangerous opponent. He was not talking about bravado alone, he was speaking about the quiet composure Crawford brings to the ring when he opposes bigger, more athletic, stronger opponents.
Fight the idea of Canelo Alvarez opposed to fighting an individual. The thought of him is what puts fear in their heart. But he doesn't care about that because he's Terence Crawford, so it's a totally different thing. So if he can implement his strategy and ride it out to the end of the fight, he's going to be successful. But if Canelo can do what he needs to do, and his timing has to be on point, because he's not that fast as Crawford is. It's all about timing.
The scenario in this warning is not a complicated one. Crawford is not the one to second guess. He is a scholar-aggressive fighter who just reads, learns, and goes into the battle completely convinced that it is possible to win. And those are the beliefs that are even more lethal, allegedly, than brute strength as described by James. Derek James said, "When you've got a guy like Crawford who's not afraid of anything, that's when it gets dangerous. That no fear mentality, that's what makes him who he is." This is the mismatch of the stylistic core, which is making this fight the biggest fight of the decade. Custom tactic of Canelo is the pressure of mid-range, wearing physical opponents to death and space control. Crawford offers the response through quickness, accuracy, and configuration of ring arts. The issue remains open. Can the speed and intelligence of Crawford be matched with the size and physical superiority of Canelo? Or does the weight advantage of Alvarez and their natural weight overwhelm Crawford in the long run? Andre Ward was sure that Crawford would win, not only because of his skills, but his mental power and his ability to remain strong at all times. A former undefeated champion, Ward does not need to look far to know what it takes to succeed at the highest level, which he also recognizes in Crawford. It is not a fight of bodies, it is a fight of subjugation of wills. And as to mental toughness, Ward feels that Crawford will be better.
I'm going with Terence Crawford. You know, big weight jump, a dangerous fight, but somebody's got to prove to me that they can break Terence Crawford's will and that he can't figure it out against you. You know, it ain't no disrespect toward Canelo, but I've said this the last couple of years. I'm not betting against Terence Crawford against nobody right now. You got to show me that you can beat him.
Teddy Atlas also lent his full support to Crawford by giving a confident and passionate prediction. He showed that he is supporting Crawford to triumph despite any weight, size, or pressure drawbacks. Atlas admitted that the alignment will not be easy and that it can be explosive, but he is completely confident in the fact that Crawford will work on the fly and be able to give it to him in front of the fire. In his opinion, Crawford is not simply ready, but is suited to situations like this, and when the lights shine brightest, he does not expect any less than a high-level commanding performance.
I'm taking Crawford. He'll handle it all. That's it. I am. I'm not in any way trying to shortcome the tremendous fighter named Canelo. I like Canelo a lot, but I like Crawford more.
Bernie the Boxer Davis, the trainer of Crawford, noted that Crawford has never come up short on courage in the ring. He is not the type of fighter to back down or hide in the corner. That message was based on confidence and belief, not only to show Crawford's mental strength, but also to attack the game plan in the aggressive approach that they feel would be required to topple an opponent like Canelo Alvarez is a powerhouse.
Crawford got guts. He got a fighting spirit. So when you see Crawford, he gonna go in there and get busy with Canelo. Don't you even doubt that. You understand? You ain't never seen Crawford stay on the back foot in no fight in his life. You understand? He the type of guy to go get you. So expect him to go get him. We're gonna do everything we can to him. We're gonna do whatever we got to do. But one thing you can expect is Crawford is gonna step to him. Because you can't beat Canelo going on the back foot forever. You got to go get him. You got to do something. And he better know Crawford is coming.
Tension between the two fighters boiled over during a fiery moment at a New York press stop where Canelo shoved Crawford in front of the cameras. Crawford, unfazed, fired back with a cold promise. Not a hook or jab would be thrown until he settled the score in the ring. Although the two later exchanged a few respectful words during their stop in Las Vegas, the intensity between them never faded. Beneath the surface, it's clear both men are laser focused on legacy, pride, and proving they belong at the very top when history looks back on this era.
I always try to respect my opponents, and I think he don't did them because he really wanted to do. I think Turki Al-Rashid told him, you need to do something. And he did. He did. And now, before I respect his word because he say, oh, I'm not gonna let somebody to tell me what I need to do. And he did. So, but you know me. I respect everybody, but if you with me, so it's gonna be different.
Canelo Alvarez answered Terence Crawford about his hot approach in the promotion of their fight, being strict but calm. He clarified that he does not usually trash talk and pre-fight theatrics, emphasizing that he never showed anything but respect to his opponents. But in this situation, Canelo was annoyed, which means that Crawford pushed the wrong button, and that is why Canelo behaved the way he did.
Fake, I don't like to do that kind of stuff. I always respect my opponents, but they fuck with me, so it's different. You know, what I think is Turki Al-Rashid told him, hey, you need to do something. You see some nervous in Riyadh in the press conference, right?
Canelo also suggested that Crawford could have done what he did under external pressure. He used the nature of participation by Turki Alalshik, which is a hint for promotional purposes. Turki Alalshik may have told Crawford to heat the environment. Concerning Crawford's body language at his press conference in Riyadh, Canelo stated that he did not look confident, and it was possible that the bravado was not as authentic as it seemed.
I don't respect about Crawford his work. He say, I'm not gonna do anything I don't want it, or somebody tell me I need to do, and he do it in that. He tried to back me up, not pushing me, but like back me up, and that's why I push him.
Watch Saunders fight, right?
Which one? The Saunders. Oh,
He pissed me off.
Convertible.
He pissed me off.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be almost the same.
It can be bad.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
bad.
One of the riskiest boxing moves in contemporary boxing is Terence Crawford, who decided to jump up 2 full weight divisions, 147 to 168 pounds. Soon after becoming undisputed at welterweight, he now faces an insurmountable physical challenge against a naturally stronger and stronger Canelo Alvarez. The increase in weight is more than just a challenge to the strengths that Crawford took into the ring, but his endurance taking heavier shots. Most fighters cannot deal with such a steep increase, but Crawford has all the requisite skills of an elite fighter on his side, as well as a sizable footwork and timing. Daniel Jacobs expressed his opinion that Terence Crawford can beat Canelo Alvarez because this fighter has the tools to win the fight, even though the latter is a favorite of his. Can you imagine what someone of that caliber can do to someone of that caliber?
Well, I would say Crawford wins the fight based off of the skill set. That's the first and foremost. I think the biggest worry for me when it comes to that is just the size difference.
But Jacobs did not disregard the physical realities of the fight. He hated the disparity in size the most, especially considering that talent is a factor. But once that weight and power factor comes into play, a game strategy can go head over heels. He cited the popular adage recorded by Mike Tyson when he said that plans go awry once you are hit. So regardless of how good Crawford thinks he is, the real test would come with him experiencing Canelo's power.
So I'm hoping that he's able to endure what Canelo's gonna bring, but I think he has the skill set to be able to be like eluding all of the big shots and hit, not get hit. What does brother Nassim said? He has the most famous quote, swim without getting wet. And so I believe if Crawford could be that the night of the fight, I think he'll be successful. I think it'll be a big shot.
With all the experts, Terence Crawford is widely regarded as one of the most technically proficient and versatile boxers of his era. His ability to switch stances fluidly, combined with exceptional footwork and timing, allows him to control the pace and range of a bout with precision. Crawford demonstrates high ring intelligence, adapting seamlessly to his opponent's styles and capitalizing on their weaknesses. Whether leading the action or counterpunching, he maintains composure and effectiveness. Daniel Jacobs went ahead to praise the chances that Terence Crawford has against Canelo. When asked, the match looks like a long shot to the casual fans. Jacobs acknowledged that to the fans educated in the sport, this game will indicate the degree of prowess Crawford possesses.
But not to the ones that know, right? Canelo is the man, like take nothing away from him, right? But I mean, if you really look at skill set, not putting in the factors of weight and power, I think we kind of got to lead with Crawford, being that he's so diverse. The dynamic of what he brings to the table is very versatile.
As this battle is approaching, despite the big wins and grand resume of Canelo, most of the pros, like Bill Haney, indicated that they had complete faith that Crawford can live up to the hype. He transformed his notion by saying that a fighter like Crawford comes once in decades, and he has worked his life off to be at the level he is now. Although Canelo has a definite size advantage, Haney disregards it as a main factor and provokes the superior ring smarts, versatility, and fighting in stressful situations that Crawford possesses, and that, in his mind, the young American will be able to become the crucial factor once the bell is rung.
You gotta pick a side. I'm going with Crawford. I'm here to support Crawford. He done signed up to do what everybody thought that he wasn't trying to be, a generational talent. Another fighter on the Mount Rushmore of boxing. Terence Crawford is already stepping up into that squared circle where I believe there's nowhere to run or nowhere to hide. I don't care if it's 20 feet, 19 feet, or 18 feet. There's nowhere to hide. When you got the skills to pay the bills, Crawford is going to put the stamp on it. Devin introduced you to it. It's the era of the boxer and not the puncher. Or let's say boxer-puncher.
The scenario echoed the gravity of the task, so even the biggest boxing star, Manny Pacquiao, provided his interpretation of what Crawford will need to do in order to triumph. He reminded Crawford that he has to come prepared to this fight to his best ability, or he would face a boxer as balanced and experienced as Canelo. Pacquiao emphasized that this training camp needs to be specific, targeting Crawford physically, but also getting into his head as well, by prepping him against the threats Canelo poses specifically.
You know, preparing like that opponents like is not only the speed, but you know the techniques that you can use in the fight. Like make sure that in your daily routine, training routine like that, make sure that all the techniques, strategy, combination, like you know, it's accurate to your opponent's style. You know what I'm talking about, like.
Very recently, the boxer Jermell Miller echoed his views regarding Terence Crawford's move to the super middleweight division, confessing that the main thing that surprised him initially was how easily Crawford has adapted to the heavyweight division. Relatively, when analyzing Miller at a glance, he anticipated Crawford to be much larger in size than Canelo Alvarez because of the extra weight he had gained. But after taking a closer look at his physical conditioning and how the increase in size had affected him, Miller started to think otherwise.
I'm surprised of how big Crawford is right now. Surprised. I said, you know, I got love for both fighters. You know, I've been around Crawford a lot more than Canelo, so I'm pushing for Crawford more. And I thought that Canelo would have been too big for Crawford. But then studying Crawford for so long over the years, come from a wrestling background. That's why he's never missed weight. He knows how to cut weight, knows how to put weight on.
Another point out by Miller is that gaining or cutting weight has always been a professional trait of Crawford as well. In the same way, Miller said that mindset and attention to detail will benefit him come fight night. Although he mentioned respecting both of the fighters, Miller took the side of Crawford, and he even said that Canelo is not going to have an easy night. He thinks that Crawford is quite a legitimate problem under skill set and preparation, even in the 168-pound category.
It's gonna be a tough fight. It's not gonna be an easy fight for Canelo, and I'm thinking Crawford's gonna pull it off.
Despite all the adulations which has been given to Terence Crawford because of his genius, one cannot ignore the fact that Canelo Alvarez is also a great fighter. His desire to succeed never cared about limits and weight categories. People labeled it foolish when he shifted up to light heavyweight to fight Sergey Kovalev, a title holder with a bone-breaking jab and a reputation to end fights and nightmares with his right hand. Canelo, however, looked at the situation with calm determination. Expert opinions do vary with the bias. Tyrone Davis, who sparred both fighters, leans toward Canelo, saying, "If I had to put my money on somebody, it would be Canelo Alvarez, even though Terence Crawford is a great fighter." That was not another belt victory, that was a statement. Canelo never navigated up and down divisions in search of names, but he aimed to strike out at legacy. Between 154 and 175, some increase of weight was a risk, but also a statement. He could indeed put himself in a place where others could not go. His knockouts not only end up in highlights, but they were also a historic note. And that right to Kovalev, it was not that it could only stop a man, it could silence doubters, at least for a while. David Morrell was not stingy about a prediction of what a conflict between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford will look like. He recognized the motivation and the spirit of Crawford, but indicated that he does not think he will take him in the distance. To Morrell, it is one big difference between being motivated, whether by legacy or by financial gain, and being inside the ring with someone who is as experienced, strong, and methodical as Canelo. This is, in his opinion, grounds in the deep water where power, bulk, and experience of making championships count.
I say Crawford, but you know, it's the crazy fight. You know, it's too much. It's too much fun for Crawford. I mean, I know he do it for the money, but it's too much. It's too much pound for Crawford, and Canelo is not easy. You know, Canelo is stronger. It's difficult. It's difficult for Crawford. The win the fight or the stay the win the 12th round. So, you know, I say 60-40 for Canelo.
Canelo is a fighter who has turned his career by blowing up at this weight, and Crawford will require much more than speed and intelligence to get out alive. Rasheed Romero, who is supportive of Crawford as a fighter, did not put a sweet touch on his prediction as well. He loved his bold walk and talk of Crawford, and nevertheless, the reality of doing this and standing across a larger, more experienced Canelo would take a major toll to be able to snatch a shot.
Crawford could win. I said I hope so. You don't just move up 3 weight division. Well, I mean, it's been 2 weight divisions, but it's 3, you know, because they only fought 1. But you don't move up 2 weight divisions artificially and expect to, like, you know, win. Like, bro, like, there's that's not something that happens, you know what I mean? Are you still gonna be fast? And like, bro, like...
But then, even though the rise of Crawford is admirable, the story of Canelo cannot be undermined. He has tested and retested himself under harsh conditions. That is the thing about greatness, after all. It is not the property of a single man, and Canelo did his part with blood and risk and thunderous fists. With the clock for the Canelo Alvarez fight versus Terence Crawford already ticking down, the bold weight jump that Crawford has taken may result in the biggest upset in boxing history. Or will Canelo remind the world why he is the ruler of 4 divisions full of power and precision? This is definitely not a fight, this is a clash of titans. It is your turn now. Who will emerge victoriously, Canelo or Crawford? Predict in the comments. Like the video if you are ready to go to war, and don't by any means forget to subscribe so that you get the complete coverage moving into fight night.